Okay, so in parts 1 and 2 you saw all about the hardware that I use, and you saw what I did to treat my audio. In this one, the very last one of this series, I'm going to show you the things that I do to my footage that make it look the way that it does. There's one particular technique that I really enjoy using, and it's really simple, and what it does is it removes the fisheye lens effect from the action camera. Personally, I really dislike that, because it just bends everything and makes it look all distorted. I don't like it. I want to try and clean that up a bit. Now, the technique I use isn't perfect, but it certainly makes it a lot better than it was, and hopefully in what you're going to see, you'll be able to see the difference between the two bits of footage, and then you can make your own mind up. Was the original action camera footage better, or is what I've done to the footage to treat it better? I'll let you make your mind up. So without further ado, let's get on and have a look. Okay, so this is the video editing software that I use. This is Hitfilm Express, and I'm not affiliated or sponsored by them in any way. I'll just get that out there right now. This is a free bit of kit that I found online when I was looking at video editing software. This was the one that I chose to use. You can choose to use whichever one you want. This is not a tutorial on how to use the software. I'm literally going to go through some of the techniques that I apply to my footage so you can see the difference between them. So what you're looking at right now is a piece of unedited footage. It's 5 seconds long, and I'm going to play that for you so you can see what it looks like. So you can see that the fisheye action camera kind of distortion is fairly prominent in this footage. You can see that roof bends, and I mentioned in the intro that I really dislike the action camera sort of distortion that gets applied. It really sort of takes my focus away from what's actually happening on screen. So one of the first things that I do is I try and get rid of that. But before we move on to the effects, what I'm going to try and do is show you side by side exactly what the difference is. So first of all, we're going to add a little divider to split the screen in two, and then we're going to add two little pieces of text so you can see which side is which. On the left we have what is going to be the edited footage, and then on the right is the unedited footage, so exactly as you're seeing now. So the first thing that I would do is I would go and apply 4 specific effects. The first one is the action camera lens distortion effect, and there are some presets, and I choose to use the narrow option. Then I will increase the brightness a little bit, I'll increase the exposure a little bit, and then I'll just add some white balance to it just to level things out. And already, just by applying those 4 very simple effects, you can see the difference between the two. The distortion is less. There's still some distortion there, but it's a lot less pronounced. Now, I know that my action camera actually has an option on it to record a distortion-free version, but I have no idea what impact that would have on the battery life or the file size of the files that get captured, so I don't want to mess with that when I can do it in post. I would prefer to do it here. So, very simply, at its very lowest level, they're the tiniest little things that I do to my footage to change what it looks like, and I'm going to play that for you again side by side so you can see the difference. Now, the only thing I would say is that by doing this, some of the whites get blown out quite a bit, so when the sky is very cloudy and white, you don't get the definition in the clouds. But what that does allow to happen is the definition of the darts against the sky, against anything white, is much more pronounced. So I've chosen to do that specifically because of the type of footage that I'm capturing. Now I'm going to take this on just a further stage, because this isn't how I would normally present my footage to you. This is just the as I said, the lowest level of that footage. What I would then do is I would build up a series of layers over the top of it I would add a letterbox effect. I would add a blaster icon. I've put that over there, that's just the standard place that it goes. I might add a dart timer that I've created. These are all effects that I've created, the blaster icons and the dart timers. The letterbox effect is something that's actually in the software. And then I would add a game title, in this case we're going to call it Example. And that then is almost, and I say almost, in the end position for where I want my footage to be. The only thing I would change is I would actually adjust, because we've got this letterbox effect, I would adjust where the footage sits. So instead of being where it is at the moment, I would raise it up a little bit so that it is a lot higher on the screen, so that you are focusing very much on what it is that's actually happening, and we're cutting out some of the stuff that's perhaps out of frame that we don't want to see. So they're the kind of things that I would apply to that footage, and I will play you this finalized version that I've done. Again, same 5-second clip but with all of the effects on it, and then you can see what that looks like. And there you have it, nice and quick. Only a few things that I actually do to my footage. Obviously you have to sync up the audio and there's lots of cutting and all of that, but in terms of how I make it look the way that it looks, there's those 4 basic effects: the action camera, the brightness and contrast, the exposure and the white balance. And then it's just layering different things on top of it to give it the HUD display that I kind of like to have, where you can see what's going on. We've got the name of the game and the blaster icon and the timer that's going across, and it gives it a little bit more of a movie-ish kind of effect with the letterbox. Don't have to have them, they're not necessary, but it's what I like to do. And with that I will hand you back to Cowboy Me. Okay, there you have it. Those are the treatments that I apply to my video footage, and hopefully you will agree that it looks better than just leaving it untreated. Of course, you don't have to do what I do. This is what I choose to do. If you've got a different technique, by all means share it in the comment section. I want to see what other people do, and I don't mind being inspired by other people's techniques, seeing what they do, seeing if it works for me, incorporating it into my footage. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I'll move on and try something else. But I'm always trying to learn something new, and hopefully I've shown you guys something new. If you like what you saw, please leave a like, a thumbs up, or a comment in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can click this button right by here. And if you want some more footage, you can click this button right by here. I'll catch you guys next time.